Hello, I'm your host Lars Umlaut, and welcome to the second season of the Erotic Fanfiction crossover Extravaganza. Tonight we have 3 esteemed guest judges, and they have chosen for us to write erotic fanfiction of SpongeBob mixed with the Mario Brothers. So, up first is our reigning champion, Soraya Uchuk.
Alright.
And go ahead.
So mine is called Bold and Brash. It was a bright and sunny day in Super Mario Land. The birds and the bees were singing, dancing, and twirling around. The animals were scavenging shrooms and plants to eat and fill their bellies. But there was one soul in this land that was not happy-go-lucky. His name was Mario. You see, Mario had just broken up with his longtime girlfriend, Peach. Things were said about Mario, like pipe fitter and dick dinger. Basically, Peach was calling Mario gay. How could she? Did she really blame him for wearing his assless chaps and Gucci shoes? All he wanted to do was express himself. But no, Peach just wanted to have constant sex with him. She kept getting herself caught by Bowser because she had such a strong sexual rush of getting rescued by Mario. But Mario was tired of it all. He wanted something that was more. He wanted to try different things. And so he decided enough was enough and confronted Peach. By the end, Mario was out the door, depressed and alone. He went walking by the lake that he used to walk with Peach at. It was calm and serene, and it gave Mario a sense of happiness that he hadn't felt in a long time. He took his shoes off and let his feet splash around in the cool water. All of a sudden, he heard splashing to his left. Mario hadn't noticed the newcomer, and all he could see was the brown shirt of whoever it was in the lake. All of a sudden, Mario felt something touch his feet. Shocked, Mario tried to scramble up, but ended up slipping into the lake. As Mario was trying to swim, arms reached in and pulled him out. Coughing and on his back, Mario tried to get a glimpse of his savior, but instead he fainted from all the adrenaline. The next time he woke up, Mario was in a gray stoned home. He looked around and saw a clarinet on a stand and artwork on the walls, which were unlike any art he'd ever seen. One piece of art really caught his eye. It was sitting on a pedestal with a plaque that stated Bold and Brash. He went up to touch the figure, but heard someone walking from behind him. Mario spun around, dropping the blanket he carried on his shoulders, revealing his thick, curved body. Oh my goodness! I'm so sorry to have frightened you. Let me turn around so you can cover yourself up. Mario quickly bent over to grab the blanket and wrapped himself in it again. Okay, I'm covered, Mario said. The man turned around and Mario noticed that he had some of the most radiant maroon-colored eyes. This guy was unlike anyone he'd ever seen. In fact, Mario had never seen a man like this ever. He could feel himself getting dizzy and started collapsing to the ground. Before he had fully fallen, the man had reacted quickly in order to catch him. Whoa there, I've got you. Let's get you to the couch. The man helped Mario to the couch and sat him down. Thank you, said Mario. I hope I haven't been an inconvenience for you. Not at all. You're lucky I was there when you fell into that lake. The name's Squidward, by the way. What's your name? Mario, replied Mario. Well then, how about I get you a glass of water, said Squidward. That would be fantastic, said Mario. Over the next few hours, Squidward and Mario talked about themselves and their interests and why Mario was at the lake. Upon hearing the reasoning, Squidward shook his head and said, Girls, they can be so heartless sometimes. It's a good thing I don't take interest in them. Mario perked up at the sound of this. What do you mean you don't take interest? Mario said. I mean I'm interested in men, Squidward said. Mario felt butterflies in his stomach and could feel himself getting a little excited. Squidward was a good-looking guy. He was into art and had beautiful eyes. It's a wonder why he didn't have a partner. Squidward gasped and Mario asked, What's wrong? Squidward pointed his eyes down toward Mario's waist. Mario followed the gaze and realized that he was still naked in the blanket, and he could see his dick erect and his bold and brash. Mario blushed a bright pink and nervously stated, "Oh God, I'm so sorry. It's just that I've never met anyone like you, and I've had such a rough day." "It's no problem," Squidward said as he moved his hand towards Mario's erect and throbbing member. Mario blushed and turned such a red color that he thought he was going to faint again. "Oh no, not this time," said Squidward as he collided his mouth with Mario's. Mario could feel Squidward's tongue trying to break into his mouth, and Mario obliged by opening his own. They sat kissing passionately for a few minutes as Squidward worked his one of his tentacles around Mario's dick.
Oh my God.
Eventually, Squidward broke away and moved down Mario's body slowly and steadily towards his waist. Mario leaned back as he moaned and sighed at the feeling of Squidward's warm, wet mouth around his hard cock. Squidward slowly started moving his other tentacle toward Mario's back.
Oh no.
Mario lifted himself as he moaned loudly at the feeling of a tentacle slowly teasing around his asshole. Mario whispered excitedly in Squidward's ear, "Put it in, please." And with that, Squidward plunged his tentacle in. The ecstasy of having something finally inside him caused Mario to shout, "Oh, it's me, and I'm a-coming!" And as he shouted this, Mario came such a load in Squidward's mouth that he wasn't able to gobble it all up.
Oh God. No!
My goodness, Mario! You're a real piece of work! As Mario slumped over from all the adrenaline and passed out.
Oh my
Bold and brash.
God!
This is Super Smashing Bros. It was an ordinary day in the Mushroom Kingdom. Mario and Luigi were running through the windy fields, stomping on Goombas to eradicate them from the gene pool. But then, a loud crack split the air, and a purple portal tore open reality in front of them. Two odd-shaped figures fell out onto the grass. One was a strange, furry creature in a bulbous suit. The other was a square yellow fellow, who began writhing on the ground. The furry one raced to the nearby stream and filled its glass dome helmet with water and jammed it onto the yellow one's head. The furry one then removed the rest of the suit, revealing a curvy form in a purple bra and frilled skirt. The Mario brothers realized that it was most definitely a woman. She realized that she had an audience and jumped, attempting to cover herself with her hands. "Just what in tarnation are you looking at?" she shouted, her cheeks going flush. The small yellow one sat up, clearly dizzy. "Sandy, where are we?" he inquired in a nasally voice. "I don't know, SpongeBob. Our teleporter must have malfunctioned," she replied. "You are in the Mushroom Kingdom," Mario replied with a greedy grin. "Don't worry, we're real friendly here," Luigi added. Luigi and Mario both knew that they had the same idea. Peach and Daisy had been long gone on a royal publicity tour of the kingdom. Both of their loins burned with neglect. There was no one else in the field with them, of course. "Well, maybe you gentlemen can help us then," Sandy began. "If I can just get a tubular translocation jelly drive, I can return us to our world." "Oh, I have got some jelly for you," Luigi growled menacingly. "I hope it's jellyfish jelly," SpongeBob said in his usual chirper. "I don't think that's what they had in mind, Squarepants," Sandy said shakily. Mario and Luigi approached, targeting SpongeBob and Sandy respectively. "I get the squirrel," Luigi claimed.
Oh my God.
"You know Daisy never wears the Tanuki suit for me." "Fine. Fine by me, brother. I've got my eyes on this square one's nose," Mario growled. SpongeBob whimpered shakily. Luigi got to Sandy first. He roughly grabbed her and pulled her against him. She giggled and moaned as their tongues tangled. He clawed at her bra and easily pulled it off, revealing the soft rising of her breasts. He played with the pink nipples that sprouted out of the fur, getting more moans from Sandy. You better ride me like a Texan bullworm if you want to satisfy me, she
Oh
groaned.
my god.
Mario reached SpongeBob and harshly pushed him to the ground. Now, I don't mind playing this game, but you're going to have to be more gentle like my friend Patrick, SpongeBob said as he winced. I don't give a fuck what you a mind, Mario barked. SpongeBob smiled, glad his man knew how to act like one. Mario dropped his overalls, revealing his spherical, hairy body and knobby knees. He began stroking SpongeBob's nose. I'm going to use you a worse than a Yoshi, Mario said with a wide grin. Next to them, Sandy fell to her knees, removing Luigi's layers and pulling down his brown-streaked whitey-tighties. She frowned as a small, droopy penis greeted her. Just to give me a second, love, Luigi chuckled. He pulled out a small red mushroom from his overalls on the ground and crushed it in his palm. He snorted half of it with his bulbous nose, leaving a small trace in his mustache. He offered the other half to Sandy, who greedily snorted it up. Luigi's exposed penis suddenly erupted in growth, boasting 16 inches in length and a quarter of that in girth. Sandy's face glowed in excitement, just as her bare tits ballooned in size to be bigger than her head. She began working the bell end of Luigi's cock as best as she could, sliding it between and around her buck teeth and bouncing it off her engorged breasts playfully. Now fully naked, Mario spat on SpongeBob's nose and spread it with his hand. He positioned himself over and slid himself onto it. Mario moaned as the flexible nose contorted around his G-spot. Well, this sure is a secret ingredient, SpongeBob said before gleefully laughing. I'm glad your crab isn't too crusty. His small yellow hands began working Mario's throbbing member. Sandy fell backwards onto the grass, holding up her legs around her cumbersome tits. Luigi fell on top of her, laying on her tits like pillows and forcing the bulbous tip of his erection inside of her. Sandy screamed with pleasure. I want you to gape me bigger than the Alamo, she yelled, as she smothered Luigi in her breasts. He forced himself deeper, causing her stomach to push out and distend. Mario continued to bounce and moan atop the laughing SpongeBob, who had now also stripped naked. He worked his flexible yellow penis up towards Mario and worked it inside the same hole as his nose. Mario hollered in ecstasy, "Oh yes, woohoo! I'm going to get that crabby jelly out of you," SpongeBob yelled. Mario started bouncing faster and faster. It did not take long for his mushroom-scented spray to splash out onto SpongeBob's head. SpongeBob finished soon after, filling Mario's cavity and inadvertently snorting most of it up himself. He laughed as it all mingled in him and slowly oozed out his many pores. You sure is a good cleaner, Mario said. It's better than the suds, SpongeBob cheered. Then it was Luigi's turn. Furiously humping and motorboating Sandy, he drove himself as far inward as he could, pushing his tip into Sandy's stomach and causing her entire body to bloat. He yelled and came, his stream, exploding out of her mouth and falling back onto her, coating her fur. Well, that sure was a ride, she smiled. And that is Super Smashing Bros by Aaron Clues.
This is called SpongeSeption. Mario felt the cold shock of the water between his toes as he dipped his feet into the cold ocean near Bikini Atoll. This would be his last expedition to investigate the old wrecks of nuclear test sites in the area. With a loud yippee, he slid off the edge of the boat and began his long descent to the seafloor. As he swam lower, he began to see a faint outline of something moving in the dark. Curious, he swam closer, only to see what looked like a cave. Curious, he thought, convinced that it may have been a trick of the mind. Swimming near the mouth of the cave, he felt the current start to push and pull rhythmically. Suddenly, near the top of the entrance, two eyes open and the mouth of the cave begins to move. That's no cave, that's an Alaskan bullworm! But it was too late. The worm clamped down and snagged his oxygen regulator. He was running out of air so fast that he didn't know what would kill him first, the worm or asphyxiation. Within the blink of an eye, he suddenly hears a yee-haw and sees a rope thrown around the worm. Now writhing as though something was just out of reach, with one quick motion he sees what looked like someone in a spacesuit karate chop the head clean off of the worm. The last thing Mario remembered before he blacks out is the spaceman walking towards him as he gasped for breath. Sometime later, Mario starts to come to. His vision faded. He feels warm and dry. Too warm and dry. He opens his eyes in a shock and grasps for his oxygen regulator, only to notice that he is out of his diving gear, only wrapped in a soft towel. "Oh, you made it," says a female voice from beside the bed. "My name is Sandy. What's yours, hon?" "It's me, Mario." "Oh, Mr. Mario, you were attacked by an Alaskan bullworm, and I saved your life. I'd say you owe me one." Looking around the room, Mario notices the dark brown walls, lit candles, creating soft shadows, and finally to Sandy, what appears to be a squirrel wearing nothing but a tight bikini, exposing the soft curves of her fur. With a confused look, Mario watches Sandy get up from her chair and climb seductively on top of Mario, nothing but the towel between them. Mario tries to react, but can't seem to stop her. Is it weakness? Curiosity? Lust? Sandy slowly pulls each strap of her top off of her shoulders, watching Mario with a smirk. As she pulls her bikini down, she starts rocking her hips. Mario feels her soft cheeks and can't help but get hard underneath the towel. "Just trying to get a little blood flowing, get you warmed up," Sandy says coyly. Feeling Mario under her, she slides down, pulling the towel down with her. As the towel slides past his hips, Mario's massive cock springs up, as though it were desperately trying to force its way out, asphyxiating like Mario had before. Sandy grasps it with her hand, and Mario notices how soft her hand is. The fur makes it feel different, but not unwelcome. Moving her head down, she wraps her mouth around his throbbing member and licks it with her tongue, carefully avoiding touching him with her two front teeth. With the other hand, Sandy grips his balls gently. As soon as he feels her soft touch, Mario quivers and lets himself go. As soon as Sandy feels him come, she lifts her head off of him and holds his cock between her breasts and let him finish on her chest. Mario passes back out, exhausted. Slowly, Mario regains consciousness, only to find him still in his diving suit with something cold licking his face. Opening his eyes, he sees a pink-shelled snail on his chest. Making eye contact, the snail lets out a meow. He looks around, this time finding himself on an inflatable couch, this time in what looks to be a pineapple. A shrill voice beside him says, "Looks like you were hurt, but I saved you. Gary has been keeping you company. Now what can you do to make it up for me?"
Oh my god.
And then end scene.
Welcome back. I'm Lars Umlaut yet again, and what a range of disgusting stories. Now it is time for our judges to deliberate and decide who gets the victorious giant bone of victory.
So Serratus. That is really cool. Yeah, that one from 0 to 100 real quick. Especially with that long build-up, it just made when it finally escalated a lot harder. Yeah.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
It was 0 to 100. I think I like that.
Okay, but on that point, can we talk about Aaron's and how holy fucking shit that was? Like that was just an instant, like it got dark so fast. Yeah, that got dark, and then it was just like images would not stop flowing. I'm just like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, it was something. There was always something.
His descriptions were so vivid. Like I feel like I have to go see a psychiatrist.
Yeah, I'm mentally struggling.
Yeah.
I can't like. I'm just at a loss for words for that one. Really, that one was bad.
There's not really much else to say. So I'm like, yep, need to go get therapy.
Yeah. I'm sure Luigi does too after all that. And then Marty's, I like the approach he took. That one was. Yeah. Oh, I wish I hinted at that more.
Well, I like how the respirator was kind of like the top of the actual Inception movie.
Right, exactly. But at the end, when you go back to the SpongeBob pineapple, it's like some people will be like, "Oh, what the hell?" Also, some people will be like, "Ooh, that's gonna happen every time."
Yeah.
Like every time climaxes.
The thing that got me was like when he described Gary. I thought it was gonna be something.
Yeah,
with Gary.
I wanted that to go further with that, but also didn't at the same time.
Yeah.
So after much deliberation, we three judges have decided that due to its second to none usage of references and the vile and disgusting content it contained, Aaron's Super Smashing Bros has won the Big Bone Award.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I've never worked harder for anything in my entire life. I would like to thank SpongeBob. I'd like to thank my mom for leaving me and making me sexually perverted. And I'd like to thank Jesus Christ for not being there when I needed him.